Hi, this is Bob Gillingham and Colin Lehr from Crossfit Glen Burnie, and today we meet up with Danny Lehr of Caffeine and Kilos. Danny and Caffeine and Kilos are going on a weightlifting tour this fall. What makes this tour unique, unlike other weightlifting tours, Danny, Caffeine and Kilos, and some athletes from California Strength are going to pack it up into an RV and travel from state to state, making their way from Pennsylvania down to Mississippi. But first, we learn a little bit more about Danny, his work with athletic youth, the importance of learning the snatch and the clean and jerk before learning the power snatch and the power clean and jerk, as well as Danny's thoughts on being a strength and conditioning coach and how that is different from being a sport-specific coach.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you came into weightlifting, and if you could or would also tell us if there was any particular person that you feel was instrumental in your development.
Absolutely. So how it all happened is I was doing CrossFit. I have a CrossFit gym out in California, CrossFit Excel. And when I started CrossFit, one thing I really liked about it is that it had the lifts involved, that it had snatch and cleans and jerks all involved. Because during high school, I participated in different sports. I did wrestling was my best sport, also track and field. And one of my track and field coaches would have us do some power snatches or even full clean, full snatches, squats, all that kind of stuff. So I was, I wouldn't say good by any stretch of the imagination, but familiar with the lift. And so when we started doing CrossFit, I was like, man, this is great. This is fun. You know, kind of reminds me of that. And I was kind of drawn towards them for whatever reason. So then I was always a little bit better weightlifter than most people at the gym because at the time, nobody was really that good at your average CrossFit gym. And I liked it, so I kind of spent some time on it. I'll do like some, lift every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. I'd do that every week for like 8 weeks and increase the whole time. And then, I was having a great time with it. Then in 2010, CrossFit and USA Weightlifting had the CrossFit USA Weightlifting Open, or whatever it was called, that they held in Colorado Springs, and it was a weightlifting meet, a USAW-sanctioned weightlifting meet, followed by one CrossFit workout. So I kind of had some prodding from my fellow gym owners and some other people that kind of knew I should get out there and do that. So I did. So that was in October, and so before that, I thought, well, I should probably do a weightlifting meet or two before flying to Colorado, and so I can kind of figure out how this thing works, Right. So I did a couple local meets, went out there, had a great time, and then I think I've done 27 meets since then. And where I'm at in California, we're pretty locked in. We're in the PWA, Pacific Weightlifting Association. There's a local meet about once a month, and we're 45 minutes from California Strength. So I went out there for a Penlay seminar. That's when I kind of I'd met John and Donnie and some of those other guys just in the local meets. So the first time I'd spent any time with them outside of competition. So anyway, that's how I kind of ended up there. So since then, I've been basically training in Cal Strength, following their programming, and going from there.
Colin had a pretty good question about Danny and his coaching in high school sports.
Of course. How's it going, Danny?
Outstanding.
So I know Olympic lifting isn't typically implemented in high school sports for strength and conditioning, and I was wondering if you happen to do that for your own athletes, because I know you do coach some high school athletes, and how that's worked out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I coached wrestling. I coached high school wrestling for 10 years. I also coached high school track and field for a couple years. Did some other things too, and then I've worked with high school age athletes basically since then and throughout the entire time. And part of that was when I used to teach high school PE. I did that for 8 years as well. Just retired from that actually a year or two ago to focus more on some other things I have going on. But during that time, I was the strength conditioning coach for the football team at different times. And basically, your strength conditioning program for high school athletes, if you want these kids to become better athletes, more athletic, more powerful, is going to consist of snatches, clean and jerks, squats, and then whatever else you want to do to keep them busy and active. That's basically the backbone of the program. And so I've been kind of doing that with my kids and having some good success. And a big part of that with that, or a reason why I kind of go that way, I mentioned California Strength earlier. Cal Strength does combine prep. They have a class of 10 guys every year that go through the NFL combine. There's like over 20 guys in the NFL or they've played in the NFL out of that program. A couple of big name guys right now, actually. I'm talking like Zach Ertz and Kiko Alonso and some other guys that are pretty well known. TJ Ward, some pretty well known NFL guys are from Cal Strength. And even then, they start guys junior high and then train them all the way up, into the pros. And the backbone of every single athletic program, everyone snatches, everyone clean and jerks, everyone squats. And then from there, it's accessory work based on your individual sport, And so that's the most important thing you can do if you just want to build overall strength, overall flexibility, neuromuscular movement patterns, like the whole thing. Like that is what you need, And then we can get even more detailed. Whenever you have someone who power cleans more than their full clean or can power snatch more than their full snatch, Dave and I were talking, Dave Spitz under Cal Strength, that's basically, we call that, that could basically be like subtitled, how your high school strength conditioning coach jacked you up, like ruined you, right? Like, it's nothing that can't be corrected, but the reason for that, if people learn the power clean first or learn the power snatch first before going into the full squat, then that is a difficult thing to correct. So I'm kind of on the same subject. I get caught up and get all excited about stuff. Anyway, so a big part of that when teaching new people in general, including youths, including the high school kids, make sure to teach from the hang and into a full squat. Like that's the thing. Everyone always says like, oh, the power clean's good. You get 90% of the benefits. But no, not really. Actually, from the power clean, you get like 40% of the benefits. However, if they didn't pull off the ground but only did from the hang, then they would get 90% of the benefits. You know what I mean? And so, because everyone thinks just by explosively opening the hip. Well, shit, you can explosively open the hip by jumping. That's not the point. The point is the opening and then closing of the hip under load. Like, that's where you get power from. Like, when you run, you have to open and close your hips. So why would you have someone power clean, open their hips, and then not have to then close them afterwards, So the power clean and power snatch are much more accessory work for the full lift. And again, to simplify it for a new person, you start from the hang, So you have them go from the high hang first, then from the hang, and like get comfortable catching in a full squat, and then kind of work the bar down the leg over time rather than have them power first. And it's also a lot more safe that way, because then if you learn the full movement first, then when you do go to power clean, a missed power clean is just a full clean. It just pushes your ass down further. Whereas you learn to power clean first, a missed power clean usually looks like some weird hips out front, falling backwards, almost killing yourself type of situation.
The question I have is help us see into the future. Do kids have more of an opportunity to be physically fit today? Or do you see any changes in the curriculum at schools or in sports and so on?
Yeah, so I mean it's tough. I mean, yes, there is changes at schools. I know at CrossFit Excel here, one of my business partners still teaches high school PE, and he's been doing CrossFit with his classes since like 2008 now. So like at this point, when kids sign up for his class, like they fully know like they are signing up to do CrossFit, and their weight room is outfitted for it, set up for it, and that's awesome to get that in there and get those movements they should be doing. I was doing that for all my classes, even just my just my regular classes, like core PE, where we play sports and stuff, like 2 days a week, we would just do workouts, and usually body weight workouts or partner workouts. But after a while, the kids like it, they kind of look forward to it and something to do, and it's great. However, I think let me back up real quick, and I think that is happening all over the country to a certain degree, is the more people that are exposed to more, I don't know how to say, like real fitness or actually working out, that's better. And I think that is spreading across the U.S. However, if we think that it's like done and like that kids are all super active and they're getting the right kind of physical fitness in their PE classes, we're fooling ourselves. Like in the CrossFit community, it's we get caught up a lot of times of thinking that everybody does fitness. You know what I mean? Like, where the bottom line is, like the simple fact of that is probably like 5% of the entire population has any sort of a gym membership, period, And then if you want to go into that, like what percentage of that are meant for do CrossFit? You're talking about like maybe 5% of that, if that even, maybe 1% of that, It's like when it really comes down to it, like the greater population is still has a long ways to go. And I think it's important to focus on that. And, we just keep doing the best we can. And the more kids that go through those programs and have those positive experiences, what happens when they get out of school, Like, my goal is always, I'll tell kids straight up, like, here's the thing, you need to do something, some sort of exercise the rest of your life. Like, my goal as your PE teacher was not for you to come to my class and have fun. Like, we would have fun. Like, we always had a great time. But the point was, like you would have fun if you just come to stay, But the point is, at some point in your life, when you are in college, you might be 20 years old, whatever, you realize you're getting a little chubby from all the partying and stuff. Like, you decide you want to lose some weight. I want you to know how to do that in a healthy manner, Like, it's not just like, oh, shit, I'm fat, I need to start, go bulimic or go run on a treadmill for 20 minutes or whatever it is. Like, I want you to have the tools, to have the knowledge to be able to exercise intelligently, when you decide that's something you want to do, And so if in my class, every time we work out, we do push-ups properly, we do sit-ups properly, we do intervals, we don't just run the mile once a week, like, we do interval work, and we do different distances and varied and things for time and this kind of stuff. Like, if that's just what you do and you know that it's a good workout, when it's time to work out, that's what you're going to do, And so I think that's important. And like I kind of started this whole tangent, is basically the more kids that go through these programs, the better that's going to be overall, But also, if you look back at what did a PE class look like in the 70s, it's going to be vastly different from what things look like now. It looked like a bit ago, where there was more exercise. It was based around exercise more than it was around sport, And so that's, like, girls didn't really play a lot of sports in the early 70s. Like, talking to my mom when she was in high school, like, they were starting girl sports programs for the first time in the 70s, And so, anyways, we've definitely come a long ways, and then it seemed like we almost took a couple steps back for a little bit, but it looks like we are kind of getting on the right track.
So it seems like you've had a huge impact on the physical education going on at your school, and have you been able to implement Olympic lifting into the strength and conditioning or CrossFit style workouts in the strength and conditioning of all of the sports teams at your school, or has it just been the ones you've been coaching?
Yes, I haven't had the opportunity to for all of these sports, for the simple matter that a lot of the coaches just kind of have their own idea of what they think they should do and do their own thing. Now, with that being said, I have had coaches also, like the girls softball coach. Our team is awesome. They rack house. They win sections every year, like this whole thing. They have girls going off and fill out scholarships, to like University of Oregon, big-time schools every single year. And so their coach came to us and said, hey, we know what you're doing. We like what you're doing. How can we implement this with our girls team, So that type of thing does happen. And then you get other guys that kind of like, they just do their thing. They do what they know. They think it's the right thing, and they do it, and that's all good. You know what I mean? But, like, anything really is better than nothing. That's the simple fact of it, But I definitely implemented it in every sport I had a hand in. I implemented all my weight room classes. Every time I had a PE class in the weight room, they all would do some variation of cleans, some variation of snatches, some sort of upper body pressing or jerk, squatting, So I exposed as many people as I could to it. It's kind of cool. I've got a couple of guys who were my students. They're now 20, and they're lifting. A couple guys lifted at University Nationals last weekend and are competing. And it's kind of cool because that's, they make sure to mention me every now and then. Hey, like, they're glad that they learned how to in PE class, because now they're competing and doing so actually on a national stage. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And has your experience coaching high school athletics affected how you program for sports-specific athletes at CrossFit Excel?
I mean, yeah, it's, to a certain degree, like, being a strength conditioning coach and being the coach on the team are very different things. Like, when you have them just for strength conditioning, like you do, like my goal is strength conditioning, I'm going to make you the best athletes you can be. Like, I care about what sports you're in, I do, but, like, here's the thing, like I mentioned before, like, we have a base program. Like, everybody will snatch, everybody will clean and jerk, everybody will squat. And then what else you do depends on your sport. If you're a football player, especially like a lineman, you're going to do some more benching. If you are a swimmer, you're going to do some more pull-ups. And that's not saying other people don't do those things, but it's the thing of, like, exactly what you do to a certain degree, will be tailored around your sport, but that is all accessory work to squatting, snatching, cleaning, you know? And whereas when I was actually coaching, if I'm coaching a wrestling team, like, we would go to the weight room occasionally, but during the season, it's like, these kids don't know how to wrestle. Like, we need to do that, you know? And so we would definitely get strength conditioning in. Like I said, we'd go to weight room, but that would be a small portion of the entire program. You know, we'd probably do that twice a week, whereas as just the strength conditioning coach during the sport-specific training, you only see them twice a week anyway. Like, that's the only option, you know? So I get a lot more body weight kind of stuff in with the teams I would coach on a regular basis.
So basically, as a coach, you're focused on mostly the skill work, and when the athletes come into your box, you know they're basically getting all of that skill work, and you're just there to kind of make them a better athlete.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just like kind of like reiterate that, like whatever, like if you get somebody in and he's a baseball player and you say, oh, I know what I'm going to do, you're a baseball player, here, do this throwing motion 100 times, like holding a weight, like that is the most asinine thing you could possibly do as a strength conditioning coach, because that's not your job. Like, your job as a strength conditioning coach is strength and conditioning. You know, like, you are not, like, honestly having them do some throwing motion over and over again. You're doing more harm than good, because they may not be doing it right unless you're technical in the field. Even if you are, like, you're having to do a weight with it, like, it's stupid. Like, how many times does this kid throw a ball every damn day in practice? And they're going to have to do the same motion over and over again. What you're doing is you're the cause of overuse injuries, you know? Your job as a strength conditioning coach is to prevent overuse injuries, and to do that by giving this person a balanced, strong body. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing, is like, you need to make sure they are fit and where they need to be fit, and it is balanced. And your job then is to help prevent injuries, give them flexibility where they need it, you know, and that's your job there. So I think when people try to get too sport specific in the weight room, that's a bad thing. And that's the whole backbone of CrossFit, right? Like, that's what the whole thing is. Like, it is a general physical preparedness program, right? Like, you get people in, you give them everything, which will make them better, you know? So as a strength conditioning coach, your job is to make them a better athlete. The better athlete they are, the better they will perform in their individual sports.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Time check, Danny. Hey, thanks so much, and thanks for your leadership. You've got a few more minutes. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the tour and anything else you want to add.
Yeah, man, so Caffeine and Kilos, we always have a good time on whatever we do, and we're always trying to help people out. And so we're kind of have this idea for a bigger tour I think we're going to be doing next year, and so we're kind of doing a mini one this year. So the idea is a lot of times people do tours for seminars, whatever they do, you know, just an all-day thing or it's a 2-day thing, and you do it every weekend. Well, look, man, we like Caffeine and Kilos. I also am partner in a gym. I got a wife and a kid and a mortgage and the whole nine. I don't want to be gone every single weekend for 4 months in a row. And I don't think that's the most effective way to reach people and get out to people, you know? So we said, well, what's a better way to do that? Let's do every day, every night. So how it works is we're going to be driving 8 hours every day, stop, teach a 3-hour seminar in an RV, sleep that night in the RV, get up the next morning, drive another 6.5 to 8 hours, and just bang them out every day. And so as it's set now, we have Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 3-hour seminar every single day, different state every time. Except for Thursday and Friday are both going to be at one's at Ole Miss and one's going to be in Oxford, in Mississippi. Other than that, though, we're just going from Pennsylvania to Ole Miss and just kind of hammering them out one every night. Get out there to see as many people as we can, and just kind of get it done rather than seeing those same people over the course of 6 weeks. Let's just see them in 6 days. Is
there a way that we can follow along?
Yeah, I'm sure if you follow Caffeine and Kilos on Instagram, at Caffeine and Kilos, you'll see some stuff, or you can sign up on Facebook, or if you go to caffeineandkilos.com, you can actually sign up for the tour. If you go and /fall tour, that's the direct link. But if you go to caffeineandkilos.com on the landing page, there's a clickable link there. Or you can follow me on Instagram. That's at Dlehr, D-L-E-H-R, my first initial last name. But you'll if you follow us anywhere, kind of know where we are, you'll be able to keep track.
Super. Thank you so much, Danny.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is fun.